Hello and welcome back, everybody. Apologies for that slight break. Hopefully we're all back up and running nice and smoothly now and you guys are joining back in. Apologies for that slight issue. I don't know what it is, but for some reason my PS4 seems to have this glitch sometimes where when I'm streaming, so apologies everybody for that slight break. For some reason, when I am streaming from my PlayStation 4, sometimes when I actually start a custom game in Siege, it just completely kicks me out of my Twitch, so I'm not actually streaming at that point. So apologies for that, everybody. Apologies for the slight break. But fortunately, we haven't missed any of the action, and hopefully you are all back in, ready to watch this best of two between these two teams, Orbit Reality versus Randies. There we go. Da 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 da. Oh. There we are. Ooh. Ooh. Was that necessarily intentional from the side of Randies? Did they intentionally leave a... Did they leave a ban completely spare? That's certainly something I've not seen so far in any of these... any comp game so far that I've been casting for multiple Discord leagues. I've never seen a team, apart from, of course, if somebody's lagged out and the entire team has just disappeared, I've never seen someone not do a ban. Was that a misplay on the side of Randies, or was it all part of their big master plan? Maybe they only did want one operator getting rid of, and they wanted that decision to be with the side of Orbit. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. Hopefully, though, can you guys just confirm in chat if the stream is all up and running and everything's working fine, just to make sure that I haven't got any further technical issues? If so, I will quickly restart the stream and get everything sorted out for you guys, but hopefully we haven't got any further issues. Do want to say a quick thank you, though, first to Nadays for the follow. Thank you very much, my dudes. Neil R, YR6 Lamau, what a game. Right, game one win. Will we see Orbit win or Randies win? There we go. I'm now getting the poll up and running. Because of the slight delay, I wasn't able to, but now we've got that one there. Perfect. Thank you very much. Cheers for the confirmation, Nadays, if I'm pronouncing that right. But yes, everybody, have a look at this. Look at the top part of the screen. Look how wonderful this is. I can now count drones. I can now count flashbangs, smokes, claymores, grenades, and you can see everything from reinforcements, barbed wire, shields, vibe alarms, C4s. Like, I was watching, like I say, the EOL earlier, and I saw this, and I was so excited for this stream this evening. I'm so looking forward to, of course, just having this sort of information at my fingertips now to be able to use. Hopefully, of course, I do actually remember to talk about it while we're streaming, but we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, the first site that we see starting off here for the side of Orbit Reality will be the kitchen and memorial room, starting on the ground floor. To begin with, the normal site progression is normally from maybe Aviator Games or upstairs in Statutory or Trophy, but of course we do see Orbit Reality opting for something slightly different on this one, and instead going for the ground floor. A nice position being played here by Scary on the smoke. Of course, using this, both the rotating the wall that he's created and the shield to, of course, open up into the laundry position, so he can play it quite aggressively. At the moment, though, with him just playing quite passive, he's waiting for someone to start pushing into that position, and at the moment, the side of Randies is deciding to go for a full top floor down clear. As we do see now, Ash of Pizza Parker has started taking into the statutory room, pushing out from the master bedroom. By the way, just want to say a quick thank you to Morno19. Thank you very much for the follow. Greatly appreciated, my dude. Thank you everybody for following so far. And thank you all for joining me today. So do feel free to drop a hello in chat. It'd be nice to see who's with us today. Joining us for today's EOL matchup between Randies and Orbit Reality. Yes, a lot of top floor control has now been taken over by the side of Randies, and they have a fake move. Oh, a cheeky little flick there as he swings from the statutory door onto the head of Watsit, and instantly just goes straight back to opening up this floor and starting to play these vertical angles on into sight. Of course, that was a gunfight that maybe Fakamu didn't want to take, or Fake Mu. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but either way, it was maybe a gunfight that he didn't necessarily want to take because it was quite a risky one for him to do. If, of course, he'd walked away losing it, then all that soft bridge potential that the side of the Randies do have in the form of the sledge would have been instantly lost. Fortunately, though, for Fake Moo, he was able to put Whatsit down on his arse on the floor, and that's the first kill going the way of Randies. Does look like, though, Shams has started being slightly aggressive and is now pushing up to the top of the astronomy stairs. Peter Parker, though, does collect himself a kill himself, collecting Will. Not sure whether Will was in sight or on the roam, but either way, he's now dead. Shams, though, on this nice little flank and a rotate. Does he see the members? Yes, indeed, he does see the members of Randies. Unfortunately, isn't quite able to land the shots. Wongi and Sabrowski managed to get kills, and finally, Fake Moo drops on into sight and takes out Scary from behind his shield. Although he'd moved from his shield at that point, either way, he managed to take out Scary. Oh no, a little bit of a whiff there. And unfortunately, we all saw it as it was the final kill. The first round, though, going in favour of Randies on this one. As I say, unfortunately, because we're in a new season, I can't use current ranks to sort of get the general gist of where both these teams might be playing at with their level. But certainly between these two teams so far, I've seen Orbit Reality play, and yeah, they are a not good, strong team. They've played together for quite some time now, but Randies have just gone and shown them who's boss in this one so far. Maybe, of course, these teams are more closely matched than I'm possibly assuming, but I don't know. Like I say, I haven't seen either of these teams play before. If you guys know a bit more, then it'd be great if you could tell me in chat, so of course I can have an idea. For those of you that, of course, have never seen these teams play, for those that have, it would be nice to sort of know what to expect from these two. Is it going to be a close game? Is it going to be a not close game? Is one team just going to steamroll the other? I don't know yet. We'll just have to wait and see. The second site being chosen here by the side of Orbit Reality after losing the first one on the downstairs will be going to the Aviator Games Room. Still got 4 reinforcements left in pocket that they need to be placing down. See, I'm using the thing in the corner. Oh, it's great. Anyway, also good drone economy coming out here at the moment from the side of Randies. All 5 left on the board, although 2 get taken down there nice and quick. Or wait. It says 2 being taken down, but if you look on the left, not 2 have been taken down. I am confused. Anyway, Dixon picks himself up a nice early kill, going for quite an aggressive peek on the main door, it looks like, able to get that headshot onto Temp as he pushes around the corner at the bottom. Now shots coming out to break that glass on the 90 window. Shots now coming up as well from a player below. That one of Sabrowski, shooting up with the ace. Just trying to see if he got any lucky kills. But now the Dixon's playing that angle quite aggressively. He does now fall off it, so Sabrowski is good if he swings it. So, fortunately, he will be able to walk away with his life. Most players on the side of Randies have, though, opted to go for this master bedroom take. But we do see, I believe... Is it Shams? No. Is it Scary? No. It's Whatsit. As I say that, though, Fake Moo once again manages to pick up Whatsit. He dropped from the statue stay position, came down this red corridor here and flanked poor old Whatsit at the bottom of Astronomy Stairs. The sound cue maybe gave him away, or the good droning on the side of Randies meant that, of course, his position was given off. Dixon, though, having a little bit of a fight with a drone there on the 90 position, is able to take out the drone, but is now being pressured by, oh my goodness, what a grenade from below. I'm not sure if you guys saw that before I changed the camera, but Fake Moo had, of course, droned out the Jaeger, knew exactly the right spot to be cooking that nade to, and threw it right up the stairs, collecting himself his second kill this round so far. Of course, a little bit of it being done by that shield. Now Shams has been downed from the 90 position. I believe Peter Parker was the one to do the downing. And now Fake Moo is pushing up as well. Fake Moo gets himself a triple. He's on for a quad. There we go. There's a quad kill for Fake Moo. Can he get himself the ace right here, right now? It's now a 4v1 as Scary is last remaining member on the side of Orbit Reality. Smoke's coming out from Scary, as they do know now it's involved. Pre-fire coming out, and the ace! Ace from Fake Moo in round number 2. Very well played there from him. Some incredibly good plays there with the grenades, some very good game sense, knowing after he droned, of course, that 90 position where we saw Dixon playing on the shield with the Jaeger, he knew exactly the right location to cook that grenade and throw it up at the perfect time to not only do almost the full health damage onto Dixon with that initial grenade throw, but also destroying the Goyo shield in the process. So the fire and the flames from that Goyo shield eventually were able to, of course, pick up Dixon. it just seemed that Fake Moon knew exactly where every single member on the side of Orbit Reality was. Of course, we saw him drop below to get that flank onto Whatsit to start off his ace. He then followed up with a good grenade onto Dixon, where we saw him drone himself out. And from there, he just pushed up, and he just knew or saw exactly where every single operator and player was. Unfortunately for him, they were not able to answer back with a kill of their own, allowing him to secure the ace. And for the side of Randies, excuse me, they have so far got 2 rounds out of the 2 rounds played. 2-round wins. To be fair, one of the best casters I've seen in a very long time. Thank you very much, ShaneliR6. Greatly appreciate it. Glad to see that you guys are enjoying it, and hopefully the rest of you are as well. So I'm just being pinged on one of the... Okay, that's all good.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Anyway, after losing that round, we do see the side of Orbit Reality going back to the top floor in the Aviator and the Games Room. Deciding to give this one another go. Of course, second time's a charm, as some people say, but then other people say third time lucky, so we'll just have to wait and see exactly which of those anecdotes is the one that will fall the way of Orbit Reality here. Or we may just see them not even being able to get a single round on this one. Certainly after seeing their previous performance when I casted them, I believe, on Saturday or Sunday, I would expect them to be able to bring some rounds back on this one, but of course it remains to be seen whether that will be the case. Once again, we do see the side of Randies pushing over to the master bedroom to start things off. Pizza Parker, though, just managing to see Dixon just before he jumps out of that window right in front of him. Almost losing that gunfight, being left on about 24 hit points is Pizza Parker. But of course, having taken up Dixon off the board, that's a nice opening frag once again for the side of Randies. A yellow pin coming out onto the player at the end of 90. Once again, playing in that position. Is it this? Who is it this time? Is it Whatsit? Yes, indeed, it's Whatsit. Playing with the Lucy. Once again, has his shield on top of the desk. He does now drop below. Does he hear the nade being cooked by... Yes, indeed he does. But unfortunately as well for him, Fake Moo does hear Whatsit. And a nice little turnaround does mean he's able to win that gunfight and take the head clean off of Whatsit. Now pushing from below in Library, Fake Moo is currently sat on 8 kills and no deaths after 2 and a bit rounds played. He does see Shams, though, just about playing on the main stairs position. Shams pulls his pistol out and takes out that drone. Grenadier now being cooked, doesn't quite find its mark, though, as Shams does finish off Fake Moo with a well-placed TCS G12 shot. Of course, that shotgun doing absolutely tons of damage at all ranges. Pizza Parker collects himself a double by collecting the head of Shams as he swings from that study angle. And now the assault onto side comes off. Temp, though, makes it a nice and quick one with a clean little shot through the breach on the vault wall. Not the vault wall, apologies. A cheeky little peek onto the back of the dining? The bar? That's it, the bar, table, I don't know. Just the bar, let's call it the bar. Gets a clean little headshot there with the F2 all the way through that breach hole that the ace had made from the 90 window rappel. Very well played so far from Randies, so collecting the first 3 rounds so far as we only head into round number 4. Can Orbit Reality start to find a bit of ground here? Can they start to find a bit of momentum to hopefully bring this one back in their favour? Or have they met their match? Are they about to be absolutely... I don't know, what's the word for it? English is not... oh, goodness. I'm absolutely ruining it together, guys. I do apologise that I'm struggling with words.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
Hey ho, it's just been one of those days. I'll put it down to the fact that I've had a long day at work and I just really want to go to bed. But hey ho, we are here, we have a game to watch, and I'm going to make sure I give you guys the best cast that I can catch. Oh my goodness, the best cast that I can given the circumstances.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Orbit Reality, though, after losing 3 rounds on the trot, have opted to go back down into the kitchen and the memorial room. Opting to try this one again, see if they can have a bit of a better look this time than they did previous round. I think one of the things that is letting Orbit Reality down so far is that maybe decided, like, Dixon on his roam is maybe being a little bit more aggressive than he needs to be in the early stages. We saw his run out on Pizza Parker previously. It could have very easily gone the way of Dixon, but of course that aggressive run out did mean that his team were left in a bit of a deficit, which meant that of course the lucky or unlucky picks that carried on, as of course you saw the gunfight. Oh dear, what's it? How have you already lost that? How are people already in sight? They've just done an incredibly quick push. through into the pantry window. I didn't see this. Apologies for missing out on this one. 2 kills now for the way. Shams does pick up another 2 kills on either side. The diffuser is going down close on the top of this pantry wall. It is going to get stuck though by Sabrowski. He now falls back through, taking a bit of damage through the smoke, but does manage to get back. A double kill there from Fake Moo as they just line up in front of him. But Dixon is able to claim one back now, left in a 1v2. Dixon does have an opportunity maybe here to get a 1v2 clutch. But with only 30 seconds left on the clock, will he quite be able to do this? Both players on the side of Randy still looking in his direction. Will they be able to, of course, have the crossfire cover to pick him up? Yes, shots come out from Zabrowski, prone on the floor. And they do collect round number 4. And my goodness. Excuse me. Whew. An absolute rush coming out there from the side of Randy's, and it worked. Obviously realizing that the opportunity was there for them to just vault through that pantry window, drop onto the stairs and just push their advantage from that pantry position, getting really early opening frags and of course just pushing their advantage on in, giving Sabrowski enough cover, getting that kitchen control so he could get in, get that plant down. So even though some of the kills started falling back in the way of Orbit Reality right at the very end, as soon as that plant was finished, they were, of course, the defenders were left becoming the attackers, and then they had to retake site. And unfortunately for them, a bit of unfortunate lineup for the side of Orbit Reality meant that Fake Moo was able to, of course, pick up that double very easily onto 2 other players who were swinging the corner. And which, of course, even though Dixon then got the refrag straight back, unfortunately meant that for Orbit Reality it was too far of a deficit, and for Dixon it left in the 1v2. Unfortunately for him, he was just unable to do anything right there. Yes, indeed, Nadays, absolutely demolished. And by the way, everybody, apologies if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Hopefully I do get them all alright, though. Randies is actually a really good team. Well, I'm seeing that one right now, to be perfectly honest, Nadays. Well, I think we all are. After 4 rounds played and 4 rounds won on the side of Randies, they are certainly showing their dominance so far. Also, Morno19, you cast a game of mine about a year ago. When you say a year ago, are you actually talking like 365 days ago, or are you talking like last year as in 2020? Because I've only been casting for like 2 months now. I only started in 2021. So you may be thinking of someone else. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, Dixon, though, playing a very aggressive angle from the aviator room, watching onto the study door, waiting to see some unfortunate soul decide to peek him or not. Unfortunately, though, for him, so far, no one has actually come to this position, as we do see Pizza Parker taking a bit of damage from this shield positions. Being played right here. No ADSs or my gadgets, though, being used to cover that shield does mean it's easily taken out on the side of Pizza Parker. Now, apologies everybody, I'm just having some issues with my stream playback, so I'm trying to get all the action, but unfortunately not able to. 3 kills though, falling very quickly in favour of Randies. Once again, getting these early advantage. 1 going to Pizza, 1 going to Wongi, and 1 going to Temp, I believe. They now push into Statutory. They now have the site control. And there you go, Temp and Wongi collecting another 2, and flawless round going in favour of Randies. A very strong performance there, as they're about to head into their final round before we see them swap onto the opposite side. As we do see the roles swap. There we go. I now have everything up and running again. Yeah, got everything up and running again. Thank goodness. So that's good to see. Nah, good plat team, but would get 7-0 by most teams. Fair enough. So, are you saying then, Neely, that Randies are normally all plat level and they just perform really well as a team? And it's only because they're against Orbit, or are you saying that... I'm not quite sure what you're saying. Anyway, yeah, it does seem to be the wrong guy more, though. You might be thinking of someone else, but I'm glad that you enjoy my casting either way. And I'm happy to, of course, stick around and hopefully cast some more of your guys' games, whether that be in the EOL or any other Discord leagues that you would like to get me invited to. Of course, as I do work a full 9-to-5 job, and I do have other responsibilities outside of casting. At the moment, I can't, of course, give all my time, but, of course, if you ask me and I'm available, I will cast any games as and when I can. Of course, the more information you can let me know, the better. And if you're even willing to maybe pay me, that would be great. Of course you don't have to, though. Of course you don't have to. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, Orbit are a good team, but probably just a bad game for them. I don't know. Yeah, it's certainly quite a surprising one to see coming out of the side of Orbit so far. I casted a game for them. I think it was Orbit Reality versus Rent Free for the Kamikaze League that I think it was this exact same lineup that I saw on Saturday. And the game was quite close between them, I think, by the end, but certainly Orbit Reality walked away with it, and they looked incredibly dominant, especially on the attack. So that might be where we see Orbit Reality start to take this one back into their control when they go onto the attacking side. A drone, though, coming out this time from Temp, trying to find those bandit charges. He does spy an ADS, so he gets the ADS destroyed, but bad shots coming out from Shams doesn't finish off that Twitch drone before it's able to get the ADS, but it does take out the Twitch drone eventually, meaning there are none left in pockets of Temp. There may be one still on the board somewhere hidden in a location, but I'm not quite sure. If not, though, Temp has already used all of his drones, and unfortunately, because the update where we see everybody being on to drone after death has not come in place, Twitch still only has her 2 Twitch drones. She doesn't have an extra one in pocket, as she would get when those changes are applied, if they're ever applied. Anyway, so far, Randy's taking this one a lot slower than previously. Will landing a cheeky little headshot all the way from behind the B-bomb, playing over in the trophy room onto the head of Temp as he swings from the master bedroom door. First kill for Will. Hopefully he can pick this one up later as we continue through. We do now see Wongi and Pizza. Oh my goodness, what's it just playing super aggressive with that Ella shotgun. Absolutely demolishes Pizza Parker. Able to take him out now. The grenade's coming out below. Now playing even more aggressively. Gets himself a double kill. That Ella shotgun once again proving how deadly it is. Sabrowski and Fake Moo now left in a 2v5 situation. Will this be the turning point where we see Orbit Reality, of course, start to gain a bit of ground, start to gain a bit of momentum that they can carry on forward? Oh, dearie me, Fake Moo choosing exactly the wrong time to look away, and eventually finished off by Will, who drops from above. An instant trade, though, from Sabrowski, picking up both Dixon and Will. Getting himself a double kill in the process. Now in a 1v3, though, there will be not... Well, he's got plenty of time to hopefully clutch this one out, but at the moment, being in a 1v3 with only about 30 of your hit points left on board, it might be slightly difficult for Sabrowski to win this one out. Stranger things have happened at sea, so we'll just have to wait and see. But we do still see 2 C4s on the side of Orbit Reality. Alongside that, there is also 1 smoke charge still being left on the side of Scary that can, of course, be used to delay the push and, of course, just cause a bit of damage onto the player. It is being used now at the top of the astronomy stairs. And Sabrowski also being hit by an Elamine decides better of it, pushing up from there. He's now sort of stuck below, deciding exactly what he wants to do. Just maybe at this point, just saying, you know what, boys, we've lost this round. We've gone 5 up so far. Let's just talk about what went wrong and look to maybe improve going into the next one. Watson looks the wrong way, though, and is unfortunately unable to collect that final kill that would have got him a triple without a shotgun in that round. But it does mean, for the first time this game, as we're about to see the 2 sides swapping, Orbit Reality have got a round on the board. Is it too little too late for Orbit Reality in this map number 1? Or was that the exact turnaround, the exact bit of momentum that they needed to, of course, start getting this one underway? And hopefully see them get some attacking wins that might see them through either into overtime or certainly onto the victory in this one. For the side of Randies, though, they do only need 1 more round win to get themselves onto that match point, and from there, once you're on match point, as I'm sure all of you know, you only need 1 more round win to secure yourself that victory. But if we do see overtime, then it, of course, only secures them the overtime at most. But as long as they get the next round victory, they will secure themselves at least overtime. And it also puts them in a very, very strong position against Orbit, who seem to have been struggling so far in this one. Of course, when you're on that match point, you do have a bit more control over what is going to happen. The castle and the mute being brought out here to stop a possible repeat rush coming out from the side of Orbit Reality, trying to copy what Randies did on one of their attacking rounds by, of course, using the mute jammer on this castle barricade. Means that only Ash charges, Zofia charges, and Sledge charges can be used on that, as well as the Gon 6, which I'm not sure whether it can be currently used in this league, but certainly with it now being implemented into the game as a secondary weapon instead of just a normal pistol. Some teams might already be getting this mixed into their rotation, mixed into their strats, mixed into their setup. We'll just have to wait and see whether a member of the Orbit Reality squad has decided to do this. Dixon, though, leading in for the team so far, being the first one onto this study balcony and starting to push in from this location. Looks like the main push for the entire Orbit Reality side is going to be coming out into study and pushing from this far south side of the map. Dixon just waiting while call's coming out, but a drone now does drone out Fake Moo, who was playing in the aviator position. He does fall off now into landing and is currently being supported by the side by Temp. He's playing slightly further back, closer to the statutory wall. Ping has now come out on the 90 camera to say that a member of the team on the side of Orbit Reality is in. That is Watson, who's now pushing with the drone in front of him, waiting for the drone to get that intel before he knows to start pushing up into this position. And now, if only he knew, a pre-fire coming out though onto the Jaeger. As I said, that is if only he knew, as he unfortunately doesn't manage to land the headshot onto Temp, but does of course do a significant amount of damage onto him. A very nice pre-fire there, probably being called out by some of the intel that was given away on the drones. They do now realise that the castle is playing super close, and now a bit of aggression coming out from Dixon and Fake Moo. But Fake Moo, of course, losing out so far on that gunfight. Temp, does take out Shams. But does the Gridlock realise, oh no, What's it realises too late, turns around, does get the instant trade onto Fake Moo after Fake Moo takes out Dixon, but that's a trade that you really didn't want to happen, as you would have had the man advantage otherwise. We do now see What's It, Will and Scary being the last three remaining members of the team. Will has opted for the Gon 6. I'm not sure where exactly he used it or if he has used it, but he certainly has the Gon 6 in pocket. I saw it flash up for a second. We'll wait and see whether he's used that on any utility or whether he will be using it on some utility moving forward. Shots coming out incredibly close there to the Bandit playing in the Memorial Room. At the moment though, just What's It being a little bit worried about his flank, maybe not having anything covering it at the moment. As we do see, oh, beautiful shot there from Will, does pick up Wongi. Of course, we only saw that on the receiving end, but Wongi does get taken out nice and quick there. An Elamine going off does alert the Randy defenders that, of course, someone has entered the building through the bike storage, and now What's It starts aggressing onto site. And, of course, the operator of Ella and Sabrowski. She does have the shotgun in hand as well. Will the shotgun be as deadly in the hands of Randies? And yes, so far it has been. Scary, though, has pushed in and is starting to get the plant down. Being covered currently by Will. The shotgun shells coming out through the wall, but none of them are landing enough, so that diffuse does go off. Peter Parker taking a bit of damage, but flanking behind through the gridlocks. And a nice little 180 flick from Will. 180 there, 180 back. Picks himself up a double and secures the first attacking round for the side of Orbit Reality. Very well played there from Will and the whole Orbit Reality side to, of course, collect themselves their second victory on this one, but of course their first attacking round. A very good way to start your attacking side, and certainly is a good sign for the side of Orbit Reality, who've been struggling so far in this one, going, of course, 5 rounds down on their defensive right to begin with. I'd maybe expect slightly better from them, so of course seeing them bringing these 2 rounds back, one at the very end of their defense and the first one in their attack, is a good sign for them, and hopefully if they continue this forward we may see overtime, or even they might even come through for the victory at this point, despite the fact that Randy's got 5-0 ahead to begin with. Hopefully on the side of Randy's they haven't got complacent, and that isn't the reason why they may be falling behind a little bit at this point. But of course we'll just have to see. After going 5-0 ahead, it can certainly give you maybe a little bit of an ego, but hopefully they've managed to keep that in check. And of course they're able to carry on with this one and maybe find a bit more momentum, maybe stop, collect themselves a little bit, and be able to find the 2 rounds that they need to secure the victory on this one. The site of choosing for Randies on their second defense will be going to the Aviator and Games Room, opting not to go back to the Memorial and Dining.
5 seconds left.
Memorial and Kitchen, I do apologise. Obviously feeling that having lost it in such... well, not necessarily losing it in such a... what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. They didn't lose it in, of course, the worst way possible. They did put up a very strong performance. It was quite close at the end, and it was only thanks to a sort of 1v2 clutch out by Will that they were even able to come that close to that they were even able to lose that one in the first place. So it was very good plays coming out from the side of Orbit Reality, as we do now see drones coming in from the study balcony. They realise that the Jaeger of Temp is currently playing in study with the hatch open. Temp is just waiting to be pushed at this point, expecting the push to come out at any point. Gives up though and decides to drop below. Doesn't realise that of course the window gets open and Will picks himself with a nice early kill. As Watsit as well also manages to push on into study, collecting himself Wonky EU playing at the top of the main stairs. Watsit now proning in, just playing close, waiting to see if he can see some players. There is a shield playing on the bolt door. Currently gets his Zofia launcher out to get some concussions onto the Legion playing close to the door. Maybe doesn't realise quite where that Legion's playing, but he certainly knows someone is playing close in that area. Watsit just staying prone on that position while two other members play at the top of the main stairs. Will has now shot out the Goyo shield at the top, getting rid of that so it can't be used by the side of Randies later on. Malusi of Sabrowski is playing prone on the 90 position, just waiting for someone to swing. He's now been droned out though, so we'll have to fall off this position. A lot of site control has been given up though on the side of Randies. They do only have one player, that is a Pizza Parker, currently actually in sight. The rest of them are located off-site. They're still close, but they are off-site. Sabrowski has managed to get into silo and does pick himself up a nice C4 kill there through the study single door onto Dixon. Watsit though does manage to pick up the kill onto Mute as he pushes on into sight. A second kill going the way of Watsit, well, a triple overall. And he does actually get shot by a friendly on this one. Pistol being brought out. Misses so many shots onto that Legion, now going prone on the floor trying to pick up the kill, but Will is the one to eventually pick that one up. A double for Will, a triple for Watsit, and Orbit Reality are getting rounds after round on the board on this one, starting to find their mojo after they may have had quite a rough start to this one. Anyway, where was I? I was trying to say something about... Yeah, I would have personally said that maybe Randy should have actually stuck to the kitchen dining site. The fact that it was so close between the two teams, the fact that it wasn't sort of a complete steamroll from Orbit Reality would maybe suggest that, of course, try that site again. Maybe do something slightly different, or just hope that your hold and your look and the way that the round just sort of plays out works more in your favour than, of course, it did previously. So that would be my personal preference for the side of Randy's, which they're now not listening to again, as they do go for a third different defensive site after losing the first two to Orbit Reality. They've now opted to go for the statutory and trophy room. As I said, that this is maybe a better decision from the side of Randy's, because of course we did see them doing so poor. It was very much a steamroll round loss for them in the Aviator Games room over here. But of course, the very first round that we saw downstairs in the kitchen memorial room was so very close. So I would have maybe expected them to stick the site a second time, because you never know, with, as I said, a bit more luck, a bit more planning, slight changes to their setup, they could have come away with the victory on that site. While I think them swapping around so much is maybe part of the reason why they're not as comfortable on their attacks, or should I say their defences against Orbit Reality, but Orbit Reality as well so far has just been so clinical with their attacks, getting the drones in the right places, winning their gunfights, being aggressive, being passive when they need to, and just having a very well-balanced approach to their attack. We do see Temp currently playing an aggressive position out towards the Aviator room, currently holding that with a single reinforcement. Gives himself a bit of a hard wall to play up against. Now going for a second reinforcement. The call hasn't come out, otherwise an easy kill could have been picked up there, but already we do see Watsit has entered the building and is starting to push down the 90 corridor. But a pre-fire coming out to hit damage onto Watsit, and has also taken out the drone that was droning there. Pizza Parker, fortunately, able to walk away with his life there, as the headshot doesn't land from Watsit, and now Pizza Parker doing a hell of a lot more damage onto Watsit does mean that he's left in an unfortunate position. Pizza Parker eventually collecting the head kill onto Watsit. Now using this moment to start being slightly more aggressive onto this angle, but a pre-fire from Scary does collect up Pizza Parker, a nice little trade there, meaning each team is 4 for 4. But a second player pushing, that was Sabrowski, does get Scary, but Will on the opposite side of the map is able to pick up Temp, meaning that both these teams are going neck and neck at the moment, trading backwards and forth. The castle barricade still being left in pocket does mean that the double wolf jump in is able to be castled off, meaning that a bit of the position, bit of the map is able to be given up on the side of Randy's. They've wasted enough time, they've got the opening picks, and now they just back off, allow a bit of time for them to sort of prepare their defense, but also to slow down the side of Orbit Reality, make them have to think about how exactly they're going to be attacking onto this one. They do still have quite a lot of useful operators on the board. Of course, we do still see Will with that gridlock bringing a lot of bullets in. Of course, that LMG. The Ash, though, Dixon is swinging onto the mute, trying to hide behind stats. So hearing the C4 being ripped, though, does fall back for a second, but it hasn't been fallen out. But the shotgun from that range, Zabrowski getting himself a double kill. Zabrowski does get down, though, by Shams and is instantly refragged straight back. And now we do see a 2v2. Shams, though, is not in the healthiest of positions, though, is still able to win out that gunfight against Fake Moo. And now the push will come out between Will and Shams. Shots coming out. Shams not quite able to hit them at the moment, just proning on the floor, waiting for this Wamai to swing. The plant starts to go down behind him from Will, as Wongi now has to go for a rotate round into the master bedroom. A swing and a cheeky little headshot to Will, but Shams is able to get the refrag straight after that one. And Orbit Reality, after a very close, a very close, very close attacking round, are eventually able to win it out, partially down to the fact that Shams was able to pick up a very nice triple. Certainly on such a low health position you maybe wouldn't expect it, but right at the end there, a very big misplay that cost him the round there from Wongi, not realising how effective his initial pre-fire was going to be. Of course, picked up Will on the first peek, but then decided to double peek it because, of course, he maybe just hadn't realised, of course, how quickly in his mind that he'd killed Will, or thought that a second peek would be able to pick up the second member that was, of course, hiding behind Will on the plant. But unfortunately for him, Shams had seen him. A pre-fire was coming out onto his head position, so with that double peek did mean his head was cleanly taken off of his shoulders, and unfortunately the round fell in favour of Orbit Reality. Yes, Duku, Orbit are losing currently, although they are starting to bring this one back. As 4 rounds on the chops, we have now seen them win 1 defense, 3 attack. So already it's certainly looking a lot more positive for the side of Orbit. Let's have a quick look at the scoreboard, though, while we are here. So far for Randies, Fake Moo is showing a big 11 kills so far, although I believe most of them have fallen on the attacking side during like those opening rounds where we got the ace. So 5 of those kills just came in 1 round. The rest of them have been spread out across the other 8 rounds that we've seen so far. Pete Parker, Zabrowski, Temp and Wongi all doing their part as a team. Nobody really, of course, falling behind. Nobody really being so far ahead as far as Fake Moo. But, of course, all of them doing their bits. Unfortunately, it hasn't been enough on their defense. And, of course, their final defense and their final attack, and their opening defenses. But this may change as we progress forward. On the side of Orbit Reality, though, we do see Will showing up big. After only picking up 1 kill, I believe, on their defensive half, he has now picked up 7 in the 3 rounds that we've seen so far, and proving his worth and going big in the first defensive round that they almost lost on the kitchen dining position. What's It and Shams 6 apiece, and What's It with a lot of assists as well has been doing damage, but of course not, unfortunately, maybe not able to finish off the kills. Dixon and Scary doing their part as well with some assists and some kills, but maybe need to pick up the pace a little bit more, and that's part of the reason why maybe we do see Orbit Reality so far behind at this point. Anyway, back to the action so far. No opening frags have occurred, but once again the study push being the opening way that Orbit Reality wants to push in. What's It is currently playing around, wanting to start pushing in. A ping has come out onto a player inside the vault, and Will does take him out through the soft wall. But there was a second one in there. Peter Parker was being really cheeky and just hiding on that reinforced wall, playing time, and does get the refrag, instantly taking out What's It. So once again, trading like for like on both these sides, a 4v4 situation that we now see. Scary is actually pre-fired by a teammate of Shams, and unfortunately for Pete Sparky, he runs out of ammo as Shams does swing round. A nice double split there, meaning that probably Scary would have been able to pick up that refrag. Either way, Scary, though, losing a drone to a Mozzie device does mean he has to instantly quickly get it shot. And a Wamai gadget eating up one of those Nomad charges as well. A C4 from below, as you do see Fake Moo on the... Oh, goodness me. On the pulse, does do a lot of damage on to Scary, but unfortunately was not able to kill him. And now Will is able to pick him up as well as he tries to push up the red stairs after collecting the likes of Scary on his push. Now in a 3v2, things are certainly looking a bit more positive for the side of Orbit. But of course, will it be... Is it all said and done at this point? We'll just have to wait and see. Dixon, though, getting his Arana gadget out, trying to see who will be coming in. That is Wongi instantly. Shams is following him in. Will gets a triple as Wongi was able to pick up Shams. Now Will going for the plant. The swing comes out though. From Tempe is able to get him, but Dixon eventually realising that he needs to be there and cover his planter does get the refrag, allowing his team to of course get that victory. That flank drone almost being the death of both Will and Dixon, and of course would have been a lost round for the side of Orbit Reality. But after winning 5 rounds on the trot, one defense, 4 attack, we do now see the side of Orbit Reality evening this one up, bringing the scores back 5-5. Can they continue this show of force on their remaining attacking rounds and maybe win this one out, and we'd see a scoreline of 7-5 between these two teams? Or will Randies of course be able to find their feet a little bit more over the next couple of rounds, maybe get a round or 2 back in pocket, because all that one of these teams now need is 1 round to get themselves on to match point. From there, for whichever team that gets to that point, they will be guaranteed overtime at the bare minimum, and it also puts them of course in the driving seat for winning overall by getting a follow-up round, securing themselves at 7. We'll just have to wait and see how this one plays out. The site of choice for the side of Randies will be going back to Kitchen Memorial. Excuse me. Let's hope for them it goes a lot better. A lot of these rounds, though, so far have been incredibly close. The last 2 attacks that we saw upstairs onto the trophy and statutory room was very much a trade back and forth. For every kill that occurred on the side of Orbit Reality or Randies, it was instantly refragged back by the opposite team. Right until the dying moments when the plant was going down and one team or another was left in the advantageous position. Both times it's been Orbit Reality, which of course they've then been able to carry through to the execution and the final victory. But for the side of Randies, maybe if they're just a little more cautious, play things a little more slowly, they may be able to pick up a couple. They may be able to give themselves that advantage moving into the final phase, and then it will be a bit more of a clutch coming out from the side of Orbit Reality. It has been done, as we did of course see the first round where they went to this exact same site, going so incredibly close, as we did see Will win out a 1v2 using that LMG that Gridlock has to great effect, being able to do a 180 flick onto the first person and then a follow-up 180 flick onto the second person. A bit of a cheeky spawn peek though from Pizza Parker, isn't quite able to land the shot, so as 2 members completely unaware of his presence do rappel up onto the study roof. Shots coming out from the Wolf window. Pizza Parker is fortunate to get away with his life, but Shams is already in sight. What is going on here? They pushed in through launching. It's just been completely left open. Shams has got himself off the defuse. Wongi though does pick up Dixon, but now the diffuser is down on the floor. It's going to be very difficult for the side of Randies to of course start to retake this one. Scary does get himself on. Will gets himself on. What's it? Another Temp gets himself one straight back, and Will gets himself a double kill. It's now a 1v3 and everything's been left up to Temp. Now the only remaining member on the side of Randies left in this one. It's going to be quite difficult pushing on into sight, because not only does he have to of course face off against the team players of Orbit Reality, but there was also Gridlocks, Nomads, all the utility stopping him from getting back into sight and doing that retake to get the win. Once again though, Will does polish it off with a nice cheeky triple. That pre-fire through onto the China door does pick up the Jaeger quite easily, and with so many rounds in his magazine, Will is happy, more than happy, to just hold down that trigger, let his gun sing, and of course the Jaeger repeats straight into those bullets, awarding Will, should I say, the triple, and Orbit Reality their 6th round on the trot, which now sees us of course moving into a match point position for Orbit Reality. They've certainly had a comeback coming on here. 5 rounds won on the trot by Randies when they were on their offence, but now of course that the tables have turned, and thanks to a good final defense coming out from the side of Orbit Reality, they do now find themselves on the match point on the 6 rounds won, and now Randies have it all to play for in this final round of this first map. Will they be able to finally find their feet, find that momentum, and of course get a round back on the board to at least see overtime, give themselves that extra fighting chance, or will we see the dominance of Orbit Reality so far on their attack prove too much for Randies, and of course take the victory on this one? We all will be found out in the next 2 to 3 minutes once of course the attackers spawn in.
10 seconds to insertion.
For now though, let's just enjoy a moment of quiet while I have a drink and try and recover my poor raspy throat. I do apologise.
Attackers are
Bear
moving
with
to
me.
defuse a bomb.
Ah, I believe I've just worked out what the drone thing in the top right corner says. So, the two numbers that you can see, of course, as some of you may have noticed, we now have more functionality on the, not replay, but the spectator view on a lot of these things. Oh my goodness, Temp taking a ton of damage there. I'll focus on the action as what it does do a pre-fire onto the study door from this Ruins Repel. He is able to do almost about 90 hit points of damage onto Temp as he swings that door aggressively, and no damage being done onto What's It in return. The study is now going to be taken very quickly and easily by the looks of it by the side of excuse me, Orbit Reality, as with all these walls reinforced onto the study, there's not too much pressure that Randies can apply to stop the side of Orbit Reality just taking these positions. Flash is coming out from the Nomad to clear the ADSs so that the Zofia can fire through and completely destroy that Goya shield. Very quickly answering through, Shams follows suit and tries to pick up the Goya as he rotates off, but unfortunately he's not able to. Pizza Parker, though, on the roam, is able to pick up Dixon. Not quite sure where he'd push. It does seem like maybe behind or on the floor. An unfortunate pre-fire from there from Shams doesn't quite collect the head of Temp, who was playing in the Vault. And now Will, Shams, What's It, and Scary now have to start pushing onto site. Will hops on his drone to try and give his team a bit of intel. But now they've gained so far, they have to decide exactly how they're going to be pushing this one further. Pete Parker is still playing below, has taken a bit of damage in his gunfight so far. But now playing below in the piano room. He could possibly be quite crucial in getting a mainstairs flank in the final moments. Scary, though, with a Nomad charge and the gridlock being in play, does mean their flank is basically fully covered, and he's going to... Pizza Parker will have to create a load of noise to make sure that he can get back inside. Will picks himself up, another kill, going big on this game so far. That takes care of Wongi, who was playing in the 90 position. Spraski being droned out now behind the games room bar. Just throwing a preemptive C4 out there. Fake move does get What's It, but Will gets tempo back. Shams picks himself up, that does down Sabrowski. It's now Pizza Parker left in a 1v3 situation as Sabrowski is down behind the bar. And with Clock the Plant starts going down by Shams and 30 hit points remaining in Pizza Parker's pocket. He needs to make something happen right here, right now. He's just going to have to wait to see. But the angle being held there by Scary is pre-fired off. But now Will on the flank. Pre-fire's coming out. Eventually able to pick that one up. And map number 1 after 12 well-played rounds by both teams goes in favour of Orbit Reality. Able to win this one out. 7 rounds to 5. An incredibly strong offence does see them take the victory on the first map of Villa. As I say, very well played to both teams. Let's have a quick look at the scoreboard. I certainly think, as you can see, Will being the MVP here, showing up big time. How many kills was it in the end, Will? 17 kills to 8. Don't even try and tell me that this man wasn't carrying today. He was certainly playing Gridlock, and she's certainly big enough, chunky enough to be picking up the entire team and putting them on his back, or her back. But whatever you want to call it, Will has certainly shown up big for the side of Orbit Reality in this game. It didn't look good for them to begin with, of course, going 5 rounds down on their defense, but of course being able to pull it back in their final defensive round, and then of course leading into their attacking side, meaning that at the end of that one we did see them win it out 7 rounds to 5. It was certainly a very exciting game of Siege, and I'm glad that you were all here to witness it with me. Anyway, before we head into the second map, which will take us to Oregon, I'm just going to have a quick break. Mainly to just clear my throat and have a drink, but I'm just going to run about 2-3 minutes of ads, so if you guys can stick around and watch them, it greatly helps the channel out, so it'd be greatly appreciated. As soon as those ads are done, though, and as soon as both teams are ready, we'll be heading into the second map, as I say, which will be Oregon, so stay tuned for that, as it's certainly going to be a cracker. Back in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed those adverts. Hopefully they were customed to you. Of course, if you got ad blocker on, then you didn't see anything. You were just sat here in silence. I've had a little break. Unfortunately, my voice is still a little bit raspy, so apologies if, of course, I have a couple of voice cracks or I get a bit throaty later on is probably the best way to describe it. I do apologise. Hopefully, though, I'll be able to keep sipping throughout and I'll survive until the end of this best of two. And then if my voice is messed up tomorrow, so be it. I've only got to call some clients at my job, so they'll just have to deal with me being a croaky bitch. But for now, hopefully I can give you guys the best experience possible with casting, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Anyway, the side of Orbit Reality are making a sub at this time, so we're just waiting for that to get all sorted. So once, of course, they get that player in, we will be heading to our second map, which will take us to Coastline. I need to actually, not Coastline, Oregon. Apologies, I need to get everything set up. I, unfortunately, said what I saw. And that is indeed what I saw. So the orange team will be starting on the offensive, so that sees the side of Orbit Reality starting on the attack. And this time we will see Randies starting on the defense. That will then be turned around when we go into overtime, if we see overtime, and Orbit will start on the defense with Randies starting on the offense. This one's certainly going to be an exciting game. If Randies can continue their performance from the first map, then it could be a very close one. Maybe a bit more trading rounds backwards and forwards, because it certainly looked like from the previous map on Villa, for those of you that, of course, didn't see it, it went 7-5 in the direction of Orbit Reality. However, that was with Orbit Reality winning 7 rounds on the trot, their final defensive round, and then all the remaining, was it 6? I can't do maths. Yeah, 6. All their remaining 6 attacking rounds to, of course, clinch out the victory. But that meant that Randies, of course, had 5 rounds on the trot where they just seemed to be absolutely dominating the side of Orbit Reality. Hopefully Randies can find a little bit of that magic that they had in the first 5 rounds and are able to, of course, bring that through into this second map. And maybe, of course, we'll see a much closer game where, of course, we're trading rounds backwards and forwards. It will certainly make it more exciting for you guys. It was certainly an exciting game all the same. And it has to be said that MVP for that first game has to go to the man himself, Will_01. Man dropped 17 kills in the first map. With of course playing Gridlock mostly on the attacking side, proving absolutely devastating with her LMG. And as I mentioned previously, for those of you that weren't here, Gridlock's a chunky girl, so chances are Will playing her was like, you know what, boys, get on my back. He could certainly carry all of the team on his back if he was playing Gridlock, and that is exactly what he did. Because as far as I'm aware as well, he'd maybe got 1, 2, 3 kills at most as we swapped from the defensive half into the attacking half. So to see him go 17 kills by the very end, man was absolutely popping off. This is going to be a very exciting one to, of course, rewatch if you have missed any of this. If you do want to rewatch any content that, of course, I am producing on my Twitch, then do feel free to drop a follow on the channel. It greatly helps me out and, of course, means that you can more easily find me and access all of my VODs, which are available, I believe, from like 12 to 14 days. So you are able to rewatch streams that have happened previously. If, of course, you do miss any streams and you miss the VODs afterwards as well, then feel free to go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is exactly the same name as my Twitch, so it should be easily found on there. Same icon, same everything, so you should be able to find it quite easily. I try and post every single stream that I've done up onto there, so you guys can, of course, view it at any time you want. Plus, it also keeps a bit of a record for me, so I can look back in like a year's time and go, oh, this is what I used to do a year ago, or look how bad of a caster I was at this point, how much have I improved, or my god, I was so good when I started and now I'm shit. Who knows? Who knows? That's certainly the excitement of looking at all of this sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, archived stuff, which you can, of course, do through YouTube. Anyway, like I say, we are just waiting on the sub coming for the side of Orbit Reality. I'm not quite sure exactly how long we're supposed to wait, but they have 21 minutes max because, of course, we do have the dedicated server timer ticking down, and when that shit hits 0, unfortunately, we will be kicked out of the game and I'll have to rehost. Hopefully we don't get to that point. Hopefully we can get into the game far quicker than that. But, like I say, we are currently just waiting on a member of Orbit Reality coming. It seems Whatsit has had to dip out, so they're getting someone else in. I don't know who it is yet, so I can't tell you. We'll just have to say, wait and let you guys know. Exoy Sayak, I think I pronounce your name differently every time I see it, so I apologise. One of the times I pronounced it will probably have been right, but every other time I apologise. Who won map 1? It was Orbit Reality who eventually won out map 1. It didn't necessarily look like it to begin with, as we did see Randies take the score to 5-0 on their attacking half. But after winning their final defense and then all of their offense, Orbit Reality were able to, of course, take the map, the first map, put it in their back pocket, and win it overall 7-5. And also, in case you hadn't heard it already, Will carried the fuck out of his team, Orbit Reality. Man finished on 17 kills at the end of that one, and I think he maybe had 3 by the halfway point before we went on to the second half. So he certainly put his big boy pants on today and has shown up big for the team. Don't know if Lydia's in chat today, but she'll probably be quite proud if she was, or is, for that matter. Do drop a hello if you are in chat today, Lydia. Be nice to see a friendly, familiar face around. Of course, a lot of you, if you stick around more and do like my content, then it'd be great to see you tuning into more streams in the future. And it'd be great to have a lot of you becoming familiar faces, as I appreciate you all. Finatical. Or Finatical? Thank you very much for the follow. Apologies if I absolutely butchered your username. It's always difficult knowing exactly how they're supposed to be pronounced. But thank you very much for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. We are nearly at 150 followers, which is mad. I know it's not maybe as many as some people on Twitch, but for me, that is mad. I had, like, my friends... I had literally like my friends, which was like 7-10 of us total, not all that long ago on on my Twitch, and now like a month and a half later, I've got all 149 of you right here. Even if you're not all watching right now, just having all of you guys following, really, just I appreciate it so much. It makes all of this worth it. The fact that you guys actually want to see this content, want to watch me cast, you enjoy it, you get involved with the games, it's just great, and thank you so much for everybody for being around. Now, I'll stop being soppy, because I think everybody's in the game and are ready to go. So let's get this one underway. Second map of Oregon. Orbit Reality versus Randies. Who will come away the victor from this best two? Will we see each team taking a map, or will we see Orbit Reality able to continue their good form from the previous map into this second one and secure themselves the win from this best of two? We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, while the picks and bans go underway, let's get the prediction underway. Game 2 win. Will it be Orbit to win out this one? Or will we see Randies win this one out instead? Excuse me. You've got 20 minutes on the prediction, so make sure you get your votes in early, but at the same time, if you don't fancy getting them in straight away, you can see how a bit of the map plays out, but as we were just proven in the previous map, you may have been watching it and gone, oh my goodness, Randies are so good, I'm going to put all my money on them. You then tune in a little bit later, or, I don't know, you just you just happen to look back a little bit later and you're like, how wrong I was. Of course, Orbit Reality able to win this one out, the previous one out 7-5. Can they do a repeat of that here? And will we also see Randies not doing a defensive ban this time? Was that a mistake previously? Was it intentional? Unfortunately, I don't have the answers to that one, but they certainly forgot to do one of their defensive bans. So we'll just have to see what happens here. Mirror once again being banned out. And the same has to be said for Thatcher. I don't believe he was on the board in the previous game. Do correct me if I was wrong. I believe Jackal was also banned out. Like I said, for the life of me, I can't remember. I didn't focus too much on the bans last time, which I do apologise for. But hey ho, we move. We move on, we live, we learn. The final ban coming out from the side of Randies will be getting rid of that Malusi off the board. Despite the fact that she was played quite a bit by the side of, like, I believe Temp played it a little bit, Pizza Parker played it a little bit. So it's interesting to see that she has now been removed from their lineup. They are starting on the defense as well, so would have been quite a useful ban, but maybe, of course, they're wanting to... They might feel that maybe they're going to get 6-0'd, or they don't feel as confident on their defence after how Orbit Reality just took them apart previously on Villa. Could mean that, of course, they are preparing for when they do eventually go on to the attack, and, of course, want to give themselves the best chance possible. And getting rid of that Malusi will, of course, reduce the operators that Orbit Reality can use for sort of crowd control, and of course that will mean that it's maybe a bit easier for them to get into site, get that plant down, and of course just push different locations. Anyway, the side of Randy's deciding to opt and start on the laundry room supply room. Anyway, as well, for those of you who are interested with the EUL starting this week, a quick update on the current scores. It is currently match point to Team BDS, 6-5 against Team Vitality on this first play day. So for those of you that are interested, there you go, there's the current update. For those of you that aren't, then let's just focus on this one, which is currently sat at 0-0 as we go into our very first round at the start of this one. Excuse me. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, I do like the new sort of HUD stuff at the top for the spectator cams. What I've worked out is happening is that for example, you look at the shields at the top left. You've got a 2, then a line, then a 0. The line basically differentiates between whether it's in pocket or whether it's been placed down. If it's on the left, it's been placed down or used. If it's on the right, it's still in pocket. So for example, the C4 we still see as in pocket. But of course, all the other gadgets and utility that have been used by Randies so far is on the left. Alternatively, on the side of Orbit Reality, we do see now that there are 5 drones out and 4 still in pocket. And of course, you do see zero breach charges have been placed down, but there are still 6 in pocket on the side of Orbit Reality. Oh dear, flashes coming out does mean that Dixon is now blind to the rest of the world. Smoke's coming out though, trying to burn and do a bit of damage onto the members of Orbit Reality, pushing in through this double door, but an ADS does eat up that nade that's destined for that shield. The second nade does go down and actually picks up Wongi. Shams was able to get that grenade perfectly cooked so it lands at his feet and takes him off the scoreboard. So now this elbow position has been taken care of. It is now very much in the control of Orbit Reality, and they only lost about 45 hit points in the process of doing so. The TCS G12 shotgun being used by Fake Mood does mean he collects up Dixon quite early on, and a swing there from Shams almost collects the life, but a nice cover from Temp does mean that Shams falls as well. Sabrowski does pick up another. Pizza Parker also picks up Scary, and now Scary, oh no, Scorpy, and now Scary is left now in a 1v4 situation. Odds certainly not looking in his favour. He was just on flank watch, but now it's all up to him. The push has to come through with 1 minute and 20 seconds left. He's got plenty of time to do it. He's just got to take his ones nice and slowly, and then he might be able to do something right here, right now, but we'll just have to wait and see. Prefire's coming out from the Jaeger at the bottom of the pillar stairs. Does he realise? Yes, he does. Pizza Parker was prone on the floor. He does take him out with a clean little headshot, but now he's got to try and attack onto this Jaeger, who's doing a quick peek action onto that pillar's door. Scary as well, also being left on incredibly low health, could mean that he is taken out of the equation quite easily by just a stray bullet here and there. Nomad device not quite being in the location that he wanted it to be does mean that, of course, he's not able to push through there. But the rotate has now been reinforced off, so elbow is not a point of aggression that he can apply. And now he's left on 1v3. The TCSG shotgun still being used on a cheeky angle from behind the shield here. Placed slightly away from the pillar does mean that, of course, you can get that pixel angle from behind it. Scary though does pick himself up a clean little headshot onto Temp, who was playing in the Harry Potter position. Now Sabrowski is just waiting for him to push through the E-box door. He does see the head go past the pre-fire coming through, and Scary is left on about 10 hit points. C4 wasn't used, or was it? Yes, it was used, but it doesn't quite collect him. He pushes in, does manage to collect up. Fake move, swings in, gets himself a triple, but Sabrowski just about able to clutch that one out there. Probably a lot closer than the side of Randies wanted it to be right at the end there. If, of course, Sabrowski had been in just the wrong location, then maybe Scary would have been able to pick up that one and get the 1v4 or 1v5 clutch. I'm not quite sure. I think it was a 1v4 at least. So that one came very much down to the wire. Possibly more so than you would have expected, seeing the numbers fall so desperately in favour of Randies. But of course, Orbit Reality, having Scary on the board, was able to pick up 3 kills himself after the rest of his team had died, meaning he was able to bring it very close, but unfortunately no cigar for him, as he did eventually lose his life to Sabrowski. And a good start from Randies so far. So of course, seeing them having been completely taken apart previously on their defense on Villa, it is nice to, of course, see them coming out with a good defensive start against the aggressive attacking side of Orbit Reality. Slightly different look falling the way of Orbit Reality. Could have seen that first round going back in their favour, but unfortunately for them, they lost too many bodies too early on and weren't able to recover from it, eventually resulting in them losing out the round as Scary was unable to clutch. The site being opted for here on the side of Randies will be the upstairs dorms, kids dorms. The castle being in play, but of course being the 6th pick. Firstly started on Echo, then 6th pick to, I believe, Clash, but then deciding better of it and instead going for the castle pick to help control some of those positions. The castle barricade being placed down on the classroom wall below. Also seeing a lot of these guys showing off the new seasonal skin. Not sure necessarily whether I'm a fan of it so far. I still haven't made my decision whether I'm going to buy it or not. It's certainly a nice one. I wouldn't necessarily say it's my favourite, but it's certainly an alright skin so far. Some of them, though, are still sticking with the old ones, as you see Wongi sticking with one of the older MP7 skins. Already, though, Will has gone aggressive, maybe trying to utilise how much of a gunner he's been so far today, and has now swapped onto that role of the Ash. Shams has gone onto the Zofia with What's It not being currently available, and Scorpio has gone onto that hard support role, going on the Ace. Castle Barricade being used to, of course, stop that progression into the closet for as long as possible, meaning utility has to be wasted on it early, as you do see the Zofia going in and breaking that off there. Sabrowski does pick himself up an early kill as well, going big so far. 3 kills to his name now, as he does pick up Will. That's an unfortunate player to lose, both the Ash, all of that soft breach potential. But on top of that, it does also mean that Will has not carried over his good performance from the first map. You do still see 2 members on the side of Randies playing below. You have Wongi and Temp playing in aggressive positions on the roam below. The Ace, though, of Scorpy is now using an Ace charge below to try and open up the floor to get the stuff off the wall. He doesn't realise that it is bandits, so of course they should be easy to get rid of. Instead, I think he's looking for a Cade Claw. Hopefully he is shortly able to find it. A bit of a hip fire coming out there. Is able to eventually pick one up, as Dixon, taking a lot of damage in the process, pushing through the attic, is able to eventually pick up, Sabrowski, but playing below through the open hatch. Wongi is able to get that refrag, a very easy refrag for him as well, with Dixon being on such low hit points. Shams and Scary also not in a very healthy position, as Shams is on only about 20 health. Unfortunately losing that gunfight to Fake Moo, and now Scary and Scorpy are left in a 2v4 situation, outnumbered 2-1. Can they make something work right here, right now, with 40 seconds left on the clock? Or do Orbit Reality have the control that they need to push this aggression? The smoke canister comes out, of course, denying the vision for the likes of Wongi. The Scorpion now pushes in, picks up Temp. Unfortunately, though, doesn't realise quite how close Pizza Parker is, prone on the floor with the T9 in hand. Just prone right in the doorway. Prefires every position where he wasn't, somehow still managing to win out that gunfight. Does see the second defensive round going in favour of Randies. We almost seem to be seeing 2 completely different teams here in this second map. Of course, Randies had proven on Villa that they were certainly incredibly good at attacking, having won 5 of their attacking rounds against the defence of Orbit Reality. However, so far we've seen that completely flipped around on its head, because Orbit Reality also had an incredibly strong attack themselves, winning 7 rounds on the trot. Of course, one of those was that final defence that they played, but 6 of the other rounds were just their pure aggression on the attack, winning them the game overall. Unfortunately for them so far, though, they haven't managed to be able to find that same magic that maybe they had in the previous map, as Randies have been able to put up a very strong defence against them. And it certainly seemed like it's not necessarily been contested that hard. It's not been some of these close victories that we've seen from Orbit Reality like we were seeing in the previous map, and instead it's sort of been a more dominant performance coming out on the side of Randies, meaning that they've been able to get these 2-round advantage over Orbit. No castle being bought on this site, which is a little bit strange, but we'll certainly see what the side of Randies are planning on this one.
5 seconds to go.
And exactly how they're going to hold this site, knowing that there isn't a castle in play that you would normally see to, of course, deny certain entry points and control where the attackers can push from, and just waste bits of utility and have that sort of castle barricade in a position that when it gets destroyed, gets taken down, it alerts the players nearby to where the push is likely going to be coming from. We do see most of the players of Orbit Reality starting to push from this small tower position. Maybe they were thinking about going for a push to get the wall open from above. They're certainly trying to get some top floor control for exactly how they're going to be pushing in.
Bomb located
If
by
only the Maverick of Dixon knew quite how close to my of Sabrowski was playing in the Kid Storm Zoo there. Apologies everybody, I just got a very sudden tiredness overwhelmed me and I was yawning. Dixon, though, with his drone now in, does realise that there are 2 players within the top floor that need to be taken care of. Scary is contesting a little bit onto these angles. You need to be quite careful there, Scary. You don't want your head taken off this early in the round, especially when so far you do have the slight advantage since, of course, you have been able to... Oh, dearie me, Dixon. Not quite sure. I think that was just trying to open the window nice and quick for Dixon, but unfortunately the grenade for him rolled off and fell to the floor. Fake Move picking himself up a double on the other side of the map, takes out Shams, and now Will. Is this Fake Move getting one? No, that was Wongi who managed to pick up Will, and the entire small tower push has just been completely obliterated by the side of Randies. Scary and Dixon now are left trying to push off Sabrowski, which Dixon does very nicely from a push through Attic, taking the head clean off of Sabrowski as he was playing in the Kid Storms. The flash does come out. Oh, a cheeky pre-fire from Dixon through the soft wall at the top of the white stairs. Does claim himself the head of Temp and now puts this very much back in a very even draw situation between these 2 teams. Of course, a 2v2. Dixon now drops into sight. No one is, though, in the B side as the diffuser has been dropped in the small tower. Shots coming out from the small tower stairs from Fake Move as Scary now pushes down the bottom of white. He needs to work out where Wongi is. Otherwise, of course, the aggression could come out here. Wongi, though, on 20 health, just playing patiently at the moment. He doesn't need to get too aggro at this point. The diffuser is down. He knows where Scary is coming from. He needs to be droned. And there we go. Gets to pick onto Scary, just waiting for him to push forward now. It's a 1v2. Dixon in an uncomfortable position here. Shots come out through the breach. Isn't quite able to land them right there. A grenade being cooked now, seeing if he can, of course, collect the member in the showers. Unfortunately, that grenade does get eaten by an ADS, and with 15 seconds left on the clock, it's all down to Dixon at this point. Pre-fire coming out, doesn't quite match on the headshot on Fake Move, collecting himself the triple kill, and securing Randies their 3rd defensive round on the trot. Very well played. Good defense coming out from Randies, although, of course, the advantage very much came back a little bit in favour of Orbit. They knew the diffuser was down in the bottom of the small tower. They just played it very well, and of course we saw from the side of Wongi, he just played very passively, just waited, bode his time in the showers until, of course, he could clearly see Scary had walked past. He was going for the reload. He had his back to him. Easy pick, so he didn't have to take the gunfight on 20 health that, of course, he may or may not have lost. Of course, it did mean that played that so very well, did mean that Orbit were unfortunately unable to collect themselves a victory on their 3rd round played. 4th round now sees us going back downstairs to the laundry and supply room. A clash being brought out this time on the side of Randies, maybe to try and try a different hold, expecting a different push to be coming out from the side of Orbit Reality. Whether, of course, the different push will come out or not will remain to be seen in this one. By the way, everybody, the prediction has about 3 minutes left. So, of course, if you are in here and you do want to put some channel points on putting it down basically as a prediction on who you think will be winning this game number 2, then it'd be greatly appreciated. And I'd like to see what you guys think is going to be the outcome on this one. Will it be Randies being able to take this one? Certainly they're proving quite dominant so far in their defensive half, much better than they were on Villa. But of course, Orbit Reality have proven once before that they are able to pull things back from the brink, and may of course be able to bring this one back. So far only 10 channel points have been spent, and they are currently on Orbit Reality to win. So we'll just have to wait and see how this one eventually plays out. But do let me know exactly what you think the outcome of this game will be by dropping those channel points into the predictions on the chat. At the moment, it does seem to be just Scary applying a bit of pressure from the Nomad onto the Clash. He's playing aggressively at the bottom of blue, but seeing the Clash in that position has meant that most of the other remaining members of Orbit Reality have opted to go for a different push onto site. They split into two groups of two. See Shams and Scorpy, pushing down the rear stage stairs, and you also see the likes of Will and Dixon pushing from Split, the main lobby side. Will is just now getting a bit of map control, just looking out for any roamers, but currently the side of Randies are all playing down in sight, a very much turtle holder. Shams, though, picks himself up a nice early cheeky pick onto Temp. Temp was playing around the pillar position right behind the Clash, and Shams was able to pick him up, cleanly taking his head off there, now being slightly contested by the Clash. And he can't really push forward, but he will try his best. Wongi taking about 50 hit points of damage, not quite sure from who they're from, but Fake Moo is able to pick himself up a kill onto Will. Will really not having the amount of effect that he would have liked this time. Wongi being taken out there by Shams at the bottom of the rear stage stairs. Now Shams just has to deal with the Clash of Sabrowski. Exactly how this will be done, though, remains to be seen, as we do see one member still playing in Elbow and another one still playing in Freezer. Scorpio, though, does get taken out by Peter Parker, but does manage to do quite a bit of damage back in return. The call has come out that he is still playing in this Elbow position. Shams just playing this super aggressive. A pre-fire coming out, but this one coming out from Peter Parker just collects Shams. Peter Parker is now downed by the likes of Scary, who is now pushed into blue, and the Elbow angle is now holding it. Dixon, though, has managed to also get into sight, is now sat in supply closet. Do they realise where the likes of Fake Me is playing? Currently around in Freezer. But of course, with Sabrowski on side, Sabrowski can just be incredibly aggressive on the players that are planting. But the plant does eventually get placed down on the floor by Scary. Scary is now being swung by Fake Moo, but Fake Moo unfortunately loses that one out. Now being left in a 1v2 is Sabrowski. And eventually there, with such low health left, Dixon is able to finish off Sabrowski. And the first attacking round goes in favour now of Orbit Reality. After 4 rounds, they finally win this one. Dixon very nearly losing his life to that cheeky pre-fire coming out there from the Clash of Sabrowski. But fortunately for Dixon, he was able to survive long enough to get that one bullet that he needed into the body of Clash, putting her down on the floor, taking her out the game, and giving themselves their first attacking victory. Does seem that Orbit Reality have maybe taken a little bit of time today to warm up to exactly how they're going to be playing these maps, playing these games. So, yeah, so far they have been struggling, but it does seem now they're starting to get the wind in their sails. They're starting to get the momentum that they need to continue this one forward, and maybe we may see a similar repeat to what we saw in the previous game, where after their opening initial rounds of starting to play very well, they of course then propel this forward to just get round after round after round on the trot until of course they eventually win out the first map, 7 rounds to 5. Will we see a similar repeat on this one, or will Randies be able to put up much more of a fight as we continue? Frost being six picked onto here by Sabrowski, deciding to bring another sort of unexpected operator, using that 6th pick to its fullest effect. Alongside this as well, we do see Shams 6 picking off of the 0 onto the Ash, as now Will has swapped out onto the Zofia.
10 seconds to insertion.
Opting to go for another operator, give another operator a go, rather than of course sticking with the Ash and trying the same thing as he's been doing, which obviously hasn't been working so far, as he is currently 0 kills and 4 deaths. He has got 2 assists, so it's not the end of the world, but it's still a case of he probably should have been performing slightly better, especially after the results of the last map where he went 17 kills, and most of those were on the attacking side as well. Temp and Wongi are both playing on the roam. We do, of course, see Temp on his drone all the way from the freezer stairs. Of course, if he gets droned out right here, then this could be a free and easy pick for the likes of Orbit Reality. Peter Parker has also pushed downstairs to be playing below, as and where he can. He's currently below in... Oh, dearie me. Shams has been taken out by that prone angle from the classroom. Didn't quite realise how many players were there, and of course a call came out that someone was on the game's rappel. The window had been broken. and it was a very easy pick there for Pizza Parker. No intel on the side of Orbit Reality giving the call to Shams, or if there was, it came far too little, too late for them, unfortunately. With a lot of presence currently down below on the side of Randies, a quick site rush could be the play here for Orbit Reality, if they of course get the intel to do so. However, they do seem to be playing incredibly passive at the moment, maybe not realising quite how many operators they currently have on the roam. At the moment as well, we do see Pizza Parker pushing up the main stairs. Actually, no, he's pushing up from Freezer. As Scary does start pushing on his side, does pick up Fake Move. Nice and early on. And a Nomad charge at the bottom of the main stairs does alert him to the presence of Pizza Parker trying to come up on that roam. Scorpion now gets a drone into this position to watch for the flanks so that Shams now has something useful to do. And the push is now starting to come out through into the attic position. Pizza Parker has gone for a full rotate though and is now back on the other staircase, this one the rear stage staircase. Another Nomad charge may prevent him from pushing forward. Will though, does that downed in a Frostmat? Yes indeed it is. Will dropped at the same time. Pizza Parker is able to pick up the head of Dixon, but in the process Pizza Parker is downed. Scorpio though is left now in a 1v2, maybe doesn't quite realise it's 1v2, but he maybe thinks it's 1v3. And site is completely clear. He could just go in and plant right now. The Frost is currently playing in attic. And of course, the Bandit of Wongi has rotated off to go and pick up the friendly. Scorpio is now pushed on into site and the plant is now going down. Will the call be made that this is occurring? Yes, indeed it will. A C4 being played from below does get thrown and a Wongi does collect himself the kill. A very easy pick there for Wongi, eventually picking up Scorpio. If only he'd known, had the intel at the right time to know quite how easy it could have been for him. If maybe he'd been a bit more aggressive on getting in there and getting that plant down, we may have seen a very different result, or he would have had a slightly better opportunity to of course get that clutch out, with Wongi being all the way over on the far side picking up his friendly of Pizza. Well, it wasn't quite Pizza Mozzie, but it was close enough. It was Bandit Mozzie. We'll go with that. So unfortunately it did mean that Orbit Reality were not able to win out that one. It would have been very much a big clutch there coming out from Scorpio if he was to do so. And we do now see, after 5 rounds played, 4 rounds going in favour of Randies, as we now head into the final round of this half before we see both teams swap over onto the opposite sides. And of course the result from that, we'll just have to wait and see how that one will pan out. The site being opted for here on the side of Randies will be going back down into the basement, the one site that Orbit Reality were able to win out against the Clash. This time though opting just for sort of a standard elbow hold. Bringing the smoke with his shield, Jaeger with his ADSs. And placing all 3 of those ADSs to try and cover that shield. If the drone intel comes in of course early on, then they should be able to know how many of those ADSs they have to deal with and burn them accordingly. They certainly did that incredibly well on their first assault of this site. But unfortunately for them, it did not pan out, as frag after frag just unfortunately didn't fall their way, meaning eventually they ended up losing that very first attacking round onto this site. With the Clash not in play, it's possible that we will see Orbit Reality, of course, opting to go for the blue bunker push here, more so than going for the sort of split push like they did last time. We'll just have to wait and see. Pizza Parker though, hearing the drone droning him out, does eventually pick it up. But of course the call has been made of how many ADSs are on this shield. So exactly how that will occur. Shams though does appear to be trying to be cheeky again and is pushing down the rear stage stairs. Unfortunately not able to pick up the lights of Sabrowski, who is just playing on his cam behind that pillar position. A few pre-fires coming out and he does see the Mozzie drone. Does he realise that the Bandit of Wongi is, of course, crouching his way up? Yes, indeed, the call comes out. Shams, with a lovely little swing, is able to pick him up. But shots coming back onto Shams from Sabrowski, just, of course, put him down now onto a dangerous amount of health. 20 health points to be exact. Fake Me on a bit of a rotate as well. Was actually damaged quite significantly by Scary. Has now decided better of it and is opting to go back down into sight down the main laundry stairs. Now barricading at the bottom here, just to provide a bit of noise if and when the rotate should come out from the side of Orbit Reality as they push into this position. Will though has just been super aggressive on this Ying, opting for another LMG operator. Pre-fire coming out onto Fake Move, a triple coming out instantly for Will. Very well played there, he knows the final player is in elbow. Shots coming out. Pizza Parker does pick up Dixon, but Shams just about steals that kill from Will as Will was on his way to a quad. It seems that all that Will needs is a good LMG in hand, and man will absolutely destroy. The aggression coming out there from Will, even though he's playing Ying, he could have used those Candelas. He just didn't even bother. He just walked in and absolutely tore up the Randies' defense, able to give Orbit Reality their second attacking round win on this second map. Certainly exactly what they needed as they now head into the second half, because if Randies put up as good an offensive as they did on the previous map of Villa, then we may see this game actually go in favour of Randies. I'd certainly like to think so. I'd certainly like to see both these teams really fight it out right until the bitter end. But if Orbit Reality can, of course, start finding their feet once again, we may see a similar result to what we saw previously, where Randies were able to get some good rounds on the board early on, but when push came to shove and we got to the very end of this one, unfortunately, we're not able to win it out. The first site being opted for on the side of Orbit Reality will be going into the basement. Shams and Scary bringing those SAS shotguns to open up rotates and prepare. Dixon just teabagging around a little bit as the Jaeger waiting to put up his ADSs. Shams also looks like he's going to be doing a top floor hold as well. Has put down reinforcements in the top of Attic and a mute jammer on it to help protect it. Is now opening a rotate as well into the kid's bedroom from the bottom of Attic. More mute jammers going down to help cover him so he can't be droned out as easily. And it will be interesting to see how much aggression and time Randies puts into clearing off this roam and realising that, of course, Shams is in on this top floor. Already, though, we do see an aggressive entry coming out from both Temp and Fake Moo. Of course, Fake Moo going big in the first attacking half for his team was a critical part of what allowed his team to get 5 rounds ahead in the early stages. Temp, though, just now waiting for a drone to drone him out, as now one goes up to the top of White Stairs. The call has been made that there is a mute jammer at the top of there, but of course does he realise that there is actually the player of Shams just waiting at the top of these White Stairs, ready to completely take Temp off of it. Oh, the timing, Shams! The timing! Absolutely destroyed by the siege timing here, but instead Shams answers back, absolutely destroys Pizza Parker, who was trying to push through Trophy towards his position. Shams has now retreated back into the Attic and is now playing his life as much as possible. Already, of course, having a very good roam and top floor control, as it's wasted both a minute of time, but has also wasted the life of Pizza Parker, who is probably a member of the team that he didn't want to lose, of course, being on that Maverick. Another member falls now. This time it's Fake Moo, as Dixon on the aggressive roam does just swing the kitchen angle and manages to pick up Fake Moo, who was pushing from the small tower position. Dixon has now come to join Shams as well. Both of these two players now playing on the top floor. Diffuser isn't down. Diffuser is in the hands of Sabrowski. So Diffuser is still very much on the side of Randies, but they are still committing to, of course, attacking and getting rid of these roamers on the top floor. Of course, if these roamers are allowed to be left alive, which they're not, as Temp does pick up one, and now Wongi picks up Dixon. That's both the roamers now down, but Wongi is now left on a singular point of health, or 2 maybe, I don't know. Either way, it was good of them to eventually, of course, get rid of those roamers, but now it leaves them only like 55 seconds to perform their execute and setup onto attacking down into the basement. It does leave the remaining members of Orbit Reality in good stead to, of course, maybe win this one out, as drones now come in working out exactly what they're going to be placing against. The 3v3 damage now being done onto Temp. Thank goodness it wasn't... Oh dear, Pizza Parker has unfortunately left. Oh dear. That was not a time to have a disconnect, and Will then picks up Temp as well. Will then getting himself a double kill right at the end, picking up Wongi, also pushing down on the laundry stairs. Both members at this point being incredibly low. Ash having eaten a butt ton of smoke. And of course, excuse me, what's his name? Temp. No, Wongi being on incredibly low health. Goodness me, I forgot their names for a second there. Fortunately for us though, Pizza Parker has joined back. I'm not sure whether he just quickly disconnected or he was the ace who unfortunately died. I don't think he was. I think Zabrowski was the ace. So he didn't disconnect and, of course, just leave them in a unfortunate position, as I believe Zabrowski had just been taken out. But here's a quick look at the scoreboard for you as well. Orbit Reality, of course, starting their comeback after giving 4 rounds on their attacking side to the side of Randies when they were on the defense. As now we see the role swap, we do see Orbit Reality starting to bring this one back. They had 2 rounds on their attack. Now they've already had their first round on defense, and they're certainly looking very strong on this second half. If they can continue this forward, then we may see a repeat performance of the first map, which was Villa, which we saw go 7-5. The scoreline might not be identical, but it will certainly be a good map to watch if, of course, it does end up being as close as it was previously. Scary sticking on the smoke this time, bringing that shield and putting it in this position here, which can be, of course, used to aggressively watch and hold the trophy door, but also play onto the breach as required. This is the only shotgun on side, so he is left on, rotate duty. I've got the hiccups all of a sudden. Apologies. I'm also getting incredibly hungry, so I hope these guys hurry up and finish this game nice and soon, because I want to go and get my dinner. But yes, so far the siege between these two teams has been incredibly good. One team or another being able to get the better of the other, and none necessarily seeming that dominant at any given point. Certainly if you look over the course of both the maps as a whole, neither team has necessarily proven more dominant than the other, as I believe the overall round difference between the two is only actually going to be very low. But of course we do see Orbit Reality showing up big at points. Of course, getting on top. Sabrowski, though, picking up Dixon early on. Dixon playing aggressively on that class soon door, but Will answering back, collecting up the life of Pizza Parker as he's on the kitchen corridor roam, looking towards the rear stage. You does see the Maverick there, the pixel angle, pre-fire's coming out, doesn't quite manage to land the shots though. And he's now forced to fall back off to meeting. He's done his job though, he's got the refrag. And he did also pick up the IQ. The ace now being used to actually open closets, as this has now been done. An impact nade though being used to try and stop the ace charges going off. It does, so there are no multiple holes, there are only peak and head holes.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
So now Sabrowski is deciding to fall off a little bit. Will, though, has taken a little bit of damage. A cheeky pre-fire coming out from Sabrowski does actually land a few hit points of damage onto the back of Will as he now rotates off and goes back towards the white stairs. Maybe preparing to do a white run out. I believe that window has been prepped at the bottom of white, but opting not to do it at the moment as Sabrowski is just playing around the white van. The Ash, though, attempt has actually pushed in aggressively and is currently in the master bedroom. And now is just waiting for more drones and intel to come out, so of course they can push forward. Will has decided to go for a run out, this time all the way over in small tower. Does now alert Sabrowski to his position, so Sabrowski is now comfortable in pushing in and going up the main armory corridor. That was the final ace charge though, trying to be used onto that shield position, but unfortunately for Sabrowski there was an ADS covering it, so that was eaten up. Their utility was gone. And the Legion playing close to the breach is almost taken out there by Sabrowski, but the shot's not quite able to land. Wongi, though, does collect himself a kill onto Scorpy. But now with quite a lot of members on the side of Randies quite low, it's now all up to Orbit Reality in these final 35 seconds. Shams is still playing close to the breach, just waiting for someone to swing his position, or the call to be made for him to make the swing in return. At the moment, though, a drone is coming out, and Fake Moo has managed to push into the bottom of Attic and is able to pick himself up a double kill. The kill's lining up nicely, collecting both Will and Shams in that gunfight. Scary, though, is now left in a 1v3. And with the aggression coming out, the plant now coming down, he doesn't have any smoke canisters in hand. He does get the kill onto Sabrowski, but Wongi is covering, so it gets him in return, meaning that the second attacking round for the side of Randies does fall their way. Somebody has just left. I've just heard them disappear out, so I'm just going to give us a quick pause while we let them join back in. As soon as they're back, we will get things underway, but certainly a very exciting game so far coming out between these two teams. Maybe Pizza Parker was having like a mic glitch or something, hence of course the call for a pause and the disconnect, but now that he's back in, I'll just wait for the confirmation to get things running again in case they do want to continue things on. Because they may be calling a tactical timeout. I'm not sure whether they're allowed in this league, but I'm just going to wait for a second. Wait for Sirocco to let me know. You know what? Since everybody's back in, I'll keep it going. If, of course, I need to pause it again, he will quickly message me and tell me, you need to pause it! Pause! Don't unpause yet! Pause! Nothing is being shouted at me yet in Discord, although I am ready if required. I'm ready on the button. My trigger finger's ready just in case. Does seem though that, of course, they were just pausing to let Pizza Parker get back into this game nice and quick so we can get this one continued. But yeah, as I was saying before, of course, we had that disconnect. These two teams on this second map of Oregon are proving a lot closer together when it comes to skill level. We did see Orbit Reality, of course, run away with 7 rounds in a row on Villa to finish off that game. However, Randies, of course, having put up 5 rounds on the trot themselves against Orbit Reality, did maybe prove how close the game should have been if they'd just been trading rounds backwards and forwards. Now, of course, we are in a position where they do seem to be sort of trading these rounds backwards and forwards a lot more. So it is very cool to, of course, be seeing that. And, of course, gives us a more exciting game. And we may even see right at the very end of this one, Randy's being able to clutch this one out. They only now need 2. They now only need 2, excuse me, rounds to get themselves, well, 1 round to get themselves onto that match point, and 2 rounds to get themselves a victory on this one. Missed shots there by Will means that the drone was left there alive just for a tiny touch longer. He was thinking about maybe being aggressive onto the likes of Pizza Parker, who was using his ash charge to, of course, get the utility off of the wall. But he decides better of it, as, of course, he realises that he's possibly being covered by a couple of members of Randy's from the main door. The aggression now coming out on into the master bedroom, and Will picks himself up a lovely headshot onto Temp as he tries to push in through the main door. Will just confirming that he had actually had actually destroyed that drone there that was playing behind the soft couch. Looking below in case anybody is trying to play below in the classroom. No one is at the moment, so he is safe for the time being, as the Ash has now pushed up to the top of the armory stairs. The Ace has now actually opened a breachable wall this time. Does the Ash realise quite how close Will is? Indeed he does. Pizza Parker able to pick up Will there. 25 hit points left on him. Almost unable to win that fight, but fortunately for him and his team, he was able to win that one out. Getting, of course, a refrag back in favour of the number that he lost earlier. Shamzo playing on top of the table does collect Zabrowski as he tries to swing that breach charge. Pizza Parker, though, goes in nice and quick, gets himself the instant refrag for his team, meaning the scores once again are tied at 3 members left on each team. He also secured his team the diffuser, which of course could prove critical later on as they have to push on into sight. Scorpio, giving up now the attic position, has now reinforced off that rotate, meaning that they are now playing just around the silver bunk position. The ash charge being used below to get rid of the smoke shield does prove very useful and gets rid of that shield nice and easily, meaning the smoke has to fall off that position. And without that rotate into attic anymore, that is where the push will be coming from, and it's going to be quite difficult for Orbit Reality to stop the close plant on that attic door from going down. Drones have come in, and the smoke charge has been prepared by Scary to actually seep through that wall. If you place it in the right position on that wall, the smoke will actually permeate through the hard wall onto the person. Now, Fake Moo runs in, pulls deep. This man is going mad. Fake Moo runs in. He has now been picked up by Scorpy, who was playing the angle by the silver bunk. The remaining 2 members, C4 going out. It does get blown up, and Scary does manage to get himself another one. Pizza Parker runs in, gets himself a triple, but Dixon was able to get the refrag onto his downed buddy of Scorpy. Eventually, of course, able to, fortunately for the side of Orbit Reality, win out that round, putting us now on a scoreline of 5-4. This is certainly turning into an exciting game between these 2 teams. Each one just giving their best siege so far in this second map. Certainly, this is a more fun game to watch on my side, and probably your side as well, for those of you that have tuned in, because, of course, we're just trading things backwards and forwards. It gets mad. And, of course, we see just awesome gunfights coming out at the end, the last-minute executions, just brilliant siege like that we all love to see. And, of course, at this point, it is anybody's game. Without either team being on that match point position, it's not really in favour of one team or another. But With 1 round, Randies could see themselves securing that, of course, strong position of being on the match point, but Orbit Reality as well, now only being 2 rounds off of that position as well, could very easily and very quickly get themselves into an equally strong position at the end of this one. Orbit Reality deciding to go once again for the elbow hold. I believe they have played on the basement already, but they didn't win it out, if I remember correctly. If I am wrong, though, I do apologise. At this point, I've had a very long day, and my brain has just turned to mush. So I'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, as I say, the basement being the site of choice for Orbit Reality on this one. Exactly how they will be playing this one out remains to be seen. One thing to point out as well between both of these two teams is incredibly good drone economy. One falling there on the side of Temp right at the very end of the drone phase, but every other single member of Randies and also Orbit Reality previously has had basically all of their drones still available. A drone here drones out Dixon, playing this incredibly aggressive angle, just watching from the bottom of the rear stage door. The drone now coming close to him does alert him to the fact that he has been droned out of that position, and the Nomad of Wongi is now playing aggressively. Dixon does take out a couple of drones out and is now pushing back onto site. Not many drones now left in the pockets, only 6 total left on the side of, Randies. Not quite sure of the push that Randies will be applying here. Does look like rear stage control is going to be a critical part of this, with them not bringing along the Maverick and only bringing along the Ace. Does mean that they have to either opt for the E-box wall or opt for the hatch. They can't really get both open as effectively as they would like. Wongi does take quite a bit of damage there as he pushes onto stairs, as we do see the mute of Shams once again playing above in the attic position. A C4 being thrown out, unfortunately, is shot out by the Nomad, but Shams getting a cheeky angle there onto Wongi, does able to see the Nomad's feet before and is able to quickly take them out as well. Still playing in this power position right here. Almost takes out Temp with those shots, but Sabrowski has now pushed into tier 3 of the big tower, is able to get the refrag onto Shams. Fake Moo has also now pushed down onto the rear stage stairs and is able to pick up Dixon, who was playing around the pillar position. Will is still playing very aggressive, but is only on about 30 hit points, so not much damage done to him, and he could very quickly lose that. Scary, though, has decided to opt to fall off of the elbow position and has now reinforced that rotate, and Will is stuck between a rock and a hard place as he has members pushing in from the blue bunker, but also 2 members pushing down the rear stage stairs. He's going to get pincered here in a moment if he's not careful. Scorpio, though, does alleviate the tension a little bit by taking out Fake Moo, and Will does also take out Pizza. Scorpio collects himself another one with a cheeky headshot, and now all of a sudden the tables are incredibly quickly turned as we see Sabrowski left in a 1v3. He managed to push all the way down to Laundry, and as I flick to him, Scary finishes him off with the SMG-11 at close range as he pushed down into the Laundry position. A very good, strong defense, even though it did look like it was all over when Will was about to be pinched from the rear stage stairs and the blue bunker. A bit of a misplay on the side of Randies meant that not all members pushed on those positions, which maybe could have, of course, got the easy pick onto Will and then left them in a 4v2 and been in a position where they could get the refrags. But unfortunately for them, and fortunately for Orbit, they did sort of break off. They did do this splintered push, which just allowed one kill after another to fall in the favour of Orbit, as all the players on the side of Orbit were in the right locations at the right time to act on the players that were pushing in on them, eventually meaning that, of course, they were able to get that round out. And after 10 rounds, then we do now find ourselves on drawing rounds won, 5 rounds apiece for each of these two teams. 4 rounds going in favour of, 4 rounds going in favour of Randies on their defense, and I believe now the same can be said for the side of Orbit. Actually, no, that maths doesn't quite add up. 3 defensive rounds going in favour of Orbit so far, out of the 4 that they have played. With both teams now being sat on 5 rounds apiece, it does leave this round being an incredibly crucial one. The victor of this round will, of course, walk away with the first team to be hitting that match point. Of course, the other team could then bring it back to bring it into overtime, but of course giving themselves that early advantage and giving whichever team wants it or can get it that opening, of course, match point could of course prove crucial in deciding the victor on this second map of this best of 2. 3 players on the side of Orbit, Scary, Dixon, and I believe Shams all the way over here, just having a meeting in the meeting hall, it looks like, as they are setting up an extension of the site from the kitchen all the way into meeting to try and stop that push from coming through. The mute ADSs and castle barricades being used to, of course, slow the push in this position. They do still have one reinforcement that could be used on the single wall right here, but early on, Shams gets himself a cheeky little pick onto Temp. Not quite sure exactly where that came from, but a small tower push is where the side of Randies have opted to begin their assault from. Ace charge is being used to open up the wall. I don't think, yes indeed, that ace charge unfortunately wasn't quite high enough to make that a walkable rotate. Instead, it does mean that both sides are now only vaultable, meaning it's going to be slightly harder for each team to push in. One player has now started pushing above, that is the IQ, opening up the floor in the small tower, trying to play the vertical here. If only she knew, she could maybe get an angle onto the Maestro. Can't quite do it though. Wongi does fall to very low health, but Pizza Parker does manage to pick up Dixon. Wongi on the far side though is contesting Will. Will, fortunately for him, walks away with most of his life intact. Does take a little bit of damage from the departing Wongi, who is now left on about... Oh my goodness. What a pre-fire. Probably no intel on that shot at all. Just man having a wonderful game sense, and Wongi just does a cheeky little pre-fire and ends up collecting the head of Will through the game's window. Wongi now being left on very low health. Same can be said for Sabrowski, who's now crawling on inside, trying to get this plant down. Pizza Parker pushes in and gets the flank onto Scorpio, collects him for double. Now a triple kill onto Scary at the bottom of the main stairs. Now pushing close, it's all up to Shams in a 1v4 situation. He does get one, but the plant is going down by Sabrowski, and unfortunately with the crossfire being held, Wongi collects the final kill onto Shams, and the first team to hit match points will be Randies. A very strong attack from them, being able to pick apart the defense of Orbit, resulting in, of course, us seeing them being the first team to take their match point. Can they solidify, can they execute on this final attacking round for them and secure themselves this second map victory? Or will we see Orbit Reality be able to answer back to the aggression that we have been seeing from the side of Randies and take us into overtime? At which point it's then all to play for once again, but of course everything will be said and done after 2 or 3 rounds, depending on which way it goes. Either way though, this is a very critical round for Orbit Reality. They need to put up their best showing on this round. Otherwise we may see Randies walking away with the map number 2 victory, which is exactly what Randies want, but it's certainly not what Orbit Reality wants, especially after their 7-round comeback on Villa gave them that first map victory. The site they've opted to make their final stand on this map will be the kids and main dorms room. Does seem like at the moment maybe Dixon is AFK. Hopefully he comes back soon and is able to help with the setup, because of course if he's not, Cade is quite a crucial operator on this site, as of course using that Cade Claw on this closet wall can make it quite difficult for teams to get it off, even if they do bring the utility such as Ash or Zofia to go from below in the classroom on the floor. Does still appear though that Dixon is AFK. Like I say, hopefully he's back, otherwise this may be all that she wrote for Orbit Reality on this second map if Dixon is unfortunately AFK and unable to participate in this current round. Quick glance at the scoreboard shows you how many kills we've got from some of these players on this team. 14 going out from Pizza. It does seem like maybe he's going to try and beat or best the 17 that we saw from Will in the very first game. 10 from Wongi as well, coming up big for his team. Fake Moo with 8, Sabrowski and Temp with 6 and 4 accordingly. Maybe not doing as much as they need to, but certainly doing enough to see their team on match point at the moment. Already not necessarily site control has been given to the side of Randies, but certainly Wongi was able to just get in there and get an early Nomad air jab off And it does still seem like Dixon is AFK. This is not the round you need to be AFK for, Dixon. I hope, of course, that nothing serious is happening at his end. And, of course, it's already too late. His utility is basically useless at this point, as the Ace chargers have actually fully opened up that closet wall. Not fully, because it's not walkable. It's still a vaultable hole. But the fact that it is open, Dixon, you've come back just a little too late, my dude. Still seems like maybe he is present, but not quite, as he is moving around. So we'll just have to wait and see. Already Ash of Pizza is starting to make progression on into this trophy room here. The first shield being eaten up by an Ash charge. Does now destroy it, but the second shield still being in play. Shams from below, though, does get an early pick onto Sabrowski. A Vautcam in this room probably picked up the position of that Ace on his drone, so an easy pick there, and a nice opening pick there for Shams, who is now back in sight. Got back there nice and quick. And of course Dixon now being back in play is just playing super close on the breach, but unfortunately with the location of where the breach had been opened, did mean that unfortunately Pizza Park was able to see him and was able to take him out. A smoke charge being set off does mean that Pizza eats a lot of damage now on 15 kills. Like I say, trying to go for the 17 that we'll get in the previous one. Double kill for Shams. Man showing up big so far in this round, a crucial round that they need him to. And now in a 4v3 situation, the side of Randies with 30 seconds left on the clock needs to decide exactly how they're going to execute onto this one. Pizza Parker opting to go back into the master bedroom, deciding to go for the push from there, but also Temp has taken the attic position. On the flank though, Fake News taken out by Will. Will also showing up big on this final round. Will with some pre-fires through the wall. The call came. He downs the diffuser. He takes the head off Pizza Parker, and now in a 1v4, Temp can't do anything as Will answers back, getting himself onto 12 kills with, I believe, a 3 or a 4k. Certainly a 3k in that one. A very well played there. Big round there for Orbit Reality, showing it when they needed to, despite the fact that Dixon was AFK for most of the start of that. We do now find ourselves in the overtime position. The teams continue in their current setup, so the attacking side being that of Randies and the defending side being that of Orbit Reality. And of course, with us being in the overtime, any site, even if it was previously locked, can be played. So the laundry room and supply room is the one being opted for by the side of Orbit Reality. Now both teams just have to secure themselves 2 rounds back to back, or one after whatever they want to do. One, lost one, then win one. Whatever they decide to do, the team that walks away now with 2 round victories will be the one that wins this map. Will Randies be able to bring out a good performance towards the end of here and be able to put Orbit Reality in their place and get themselves the second map? Or will we see Orbit Reality be able to bring this one back in the final overtime position and win this? If Orbit loses, I'll take 4 shots of vodka. Right. Somebody clip that. Make sure that Exopsych actually does that. You better. Common Orbit, there we go. What's it? Who has unfortunately had to leave the game, who has been replaced by Scorpy, is now in chat watching this one, egging his team on, hoping that they can do their best. Bit of a strange placement there from Dixon with that ADS right in front of the shield. Can of course be shot quite easily. Now, of course, going aggressively on the top floor. Once again, we do see Shams setting up for this top floor singular roam. But as I say, that Pizza Parker, losing so much health, is able to actually pick up Dixon. A quick laundry rush is already coming down. Lots of damage being done onto Fake Move. But unfortunately, that C4 isn't able to connect. Wongi does collect Scorpy. And now pushing forwards. One is down. The second one is down. Will is also on the floor as well. Scary does so pick up the kill. And Shams on his roam is completely useless at the moment. He needs to start coming back to site. Scary, though, does get a smoke charge down. Sabrowski gets himself another kill. This one onto Shams. Wongi's down on the floor. It's now 2v2. Will on very low health. And so is Temp. Sabrowski also taking lots of damage from that smoke charge. They're being stalled out here in the laundry position. Oh my word, everything is happening all at once. Scary, though, now being the one on the most health. Will just playing as passive as possible, playing currently behind the supply room bomb. Scary, though, watching the cross from the laundry position. A nice pre-fire could, of course, tear things up right now, but with Wongi down on the floor and only 2 members left standing on the side of Randies, It's going to be interesting to see how they play this one out. There's still plenty of time on the clock. They could do a complete rotate on the exact push and aggression they're going to, but Temp falls to Scary from the freezer position. A double kill going in the way of Scary. Will, though, has now finally picked up his kill onto Wongi, and a triple coming out from Will. Oh my goodness, what a mad round that was. An incredibly, almost calculated to perfection rush coming out there from Randies. Unfortunately stopped in its tracks. Not sure whether they just stalled out a little bit too much. I think they maybe could have pushed that advantage that they got so early on with the opening pick onto Dixon into that laundry. Laundry is such a hard position to take unless you get through that double door, through that threshold, and further on, deeper on into sight. If you can't get deep enough into sight like they tried to do, then you just get stalled out slowly but surely. And as we saw from Orbit, they just controlled it towards the end of the round there, and eventually, of course, they were able to win that round out. Which now sees them on the overtime match point. Only one round required now from the side of Orbit Reality to win this one. We would see the scoreline going 8-6. Alternatively, though, as Randies now swap onto the defense rather than the attack, we could see them bring a round back here against the side of Orbit. If they're able to do so, we'll be into the overtime match point. The most critical of rounds. It will all come down to that final round, but with a very strong performance from Orbit being able to counter that very aggressive push from Randies, will we see that being the result at the end of this one? We will just have to wait and see. Same setup coming out as they did first time, although Randies are now opting for the Kid Dorms main dorms as their opening site, using castle barricades on both the classroom window but also the closet door to, of course, delay and waste as much utility as they can for pushing in onto this closet wall right here, and having the bandit in pocket as well to be using as that wall denial instead of the Cade. Let's have a quick look at chat for a second because I've seen a few of you popping up and about. First map won over 7-5 to Orbit indeed, and it was on Villa. On the boys, haha. Will is goated. Yes, Will is indeed goated. How many kills is he on now? Will is on 14 kills. He's trying to equal his previous kill count from the last game, which saw him on 17. At the same time, though, Pizza Parker is trying to get on top of it. And as I say that, Pizza has tied Will for the most kills we have seen on a singular game. Or map, should I say, in this best of two, as he does get the opening pick onto Dixon. Dixon falling too many times this map and the previous one to opening frags, especially when he's playing the Maverick. And of course, with him now being taken off on that big tower push, it does basically mean that this attic wall is remaining closed for the entirety of the round. There is no way that a push will come through from there, so instead, Orbit Reality will have to change their push from a different position. Pizza now pushing up as well onto the top armory stairs. Has picked up Scary. Has now picked up a double kill. A headshot onto Scorpy. He's now done better than Will. More kills than Will. 18 so far. Tempers there have been down, so Will is answering back in touch at the top of the white stairs. Sabrowski, though, answers back by collecting Will's head. The C4 comes out. Doesn't quite manage to collect. Shams playing in the trophy position. And now the remaining two members of Orbit have to start the push in to sight here. No hard breach left to get any walls open. They just need to try and brute force their way into sight and try and get the plant down. Sabrowski, though, playing chill behind the Kid Storm's bomb, and also Fake Moo playing close on the game room table. Wongi is below with a C4 still in pocket. Of course, he can use this later on to deny the plant. Of course, the call comes down on where the plant is coming from. But right now, he's just playing at the top of white stairs, waiting for the members of Orbit to start pushing in. Cam's being placed out by Shams, trying to get some intel from the rest of his team on exactly where they're playing. But Wongi, the cheeky angle from the top of the white stairs, takes Shams' head clean off as he peeks the trophy door. The pre-fire coming out from Scary as the call was made, but Sabrowski swings! And we go to full overtime! Randies were able to win out on the defense. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's quite an exciting conclusion to this one. We are coming down to the very final round of this game. Round number 15 will be winner takes all for these two teams right now. Whichever team walks away with a victory on this very final round will win this second map. Will it be Orbit Reality taking the best of two with both wins, or will we see Randies being able to, of course, put their right foot forward and get a draw out of this best of two between these two teams? It remains to be seen, but of course, with us being in overtime, we do see the two teams swap sides, so now Orbit Reality are back on the defense, and we do see Randies going on to the offense. The site that we're going to be seeing all this action occurring on is going to be the kids' dorms main hall. So exactly how this one will play out will remain to be seen. So far, quick look at the scoreboard. Pizza Parker has overtaken Will for the most kills in a game, but Will is close behind on 15. He's wanting to catch up. He's wanting to get that crown back for most kills in a game. Wongi, though, has also been proving very critical for Randy's performance so far, with Sabrowski and Fake Moo also doing their part. Temp, maybe not committing or maybe not providing as many kills as maybe his team would like him to, but of course they are still at this match point. He's done his part. Big kill games coming out for the likes of Will, Scary and Shams so far, with 15, 13 and 12 accordingly. Scorpion and Dixon, though, currently sat on 7 and 6, maybe not doing as much as they maybe need to, and maybe that's why we have seen this go into overtime compared to the previous control that we saw from Orbit Reality. But if they can show up big in this final round, all will be forgiven, as of course this final round will be the critical game-changing one. Will is on the Jaeger now, currently on a roam on the ground floor, just sat around in meeting, waiting to see if he can get some early pickups, early frags. Shams is also playing aggressively on the white stairs. Both teams need to be extra careful here, but also some aggression early on could pay dividends if they're able to get the opening picks. 4 members of Randy starting to make their push from the study armory side at the moment, with 1 member, which is Maverick, who is Fake Moo, is pushing into the tier 3 of the big tower. Now dropping onto tier 2, maybe deciding to go and start opening up those attic walls using the Maverick torch, while the remainder of his team push over on excuse me, the south side. Will playing below was unable to, of course, contest onto the window. The Ash Charge was able to get the mute jammer or bandits off the wall. I think it was just a mute jammer. But currently Will is just going to play passively down here, waiting for someone to start pushing in, seeing if he can get a pick through the floor, see if he can get a pick through the main door, if that is where they decide to push from. Only at the moment the IQ of Temp is sat outside on this balcony, maybe waiting to drop. But Will is currently still playing quite aggressively. Looks away at just the wrong time as he now rotates around to look at the bottom of white stairs. Don't look the wrong way, Will. There's an Ash right there. The Ash of Pizza Parker, your arch nemesis right now. How close these two people are to one another. Will goes back into the freezer position. Pizza Parker does see Scorpy, does collect him, but Will instantly in the right place to get the instant refrag for his team. It's now 4v4. And both sides looking incredibly healthy with 1 minute left on the clock. The setup has come out from the side of Randies. They now just have to make this execution work. 1 member with the diffuser, that is Temp, is currently rotating around. It looks like an attic push will be the starting position. Sabrowski, though, is starting to apply some pressure onto double window, though, to try and tempt a few of those members from the side of Orbit Reality away from the push in attic. But there we go. Dixon collects himself Fake Moo, and unfortunately Fake Moo was cooking a nade, so drops on the floor, and Wongi is killed. Shams as well picks a headshot onto Sabrowski, and Temp is now left in a 1v4 situation. Winner takes all right here, right now. Can he show a big headshot? Just about missed there onto the head of Scary, as he's now left in this very uncomfortable position with 30 seconds left on the clock. 1 smoke charge left in pocket on the side of Scary, but shots coming out from the Shams behind the silver bunk secured the win for Orbit Reality. My goodness, that was so close. A very unfortunate grenade there, of course, being cooked, meaning that when the C4 landed, the grenade was dropped, unfortunately resulting in a team kill at the worst possible opportunity. But for the likes of Orbit Reality, they are certainly very happy with that result, winning their second map after a very, very tough game that saw Pizza Parker going 19 kills. Will, of course, does have the overall kill score, I believe, 17 in the first game, 16 in the second, but Pizza Parker for the single map kills is certainly the one on top today. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining in for today's best of 2 game, which saw Randies take on Orbit Reality. The first map that we went to was Villa, where we saw 5 rounds go in favour of Randies when they were starting on their offence. Was that the right way around? Either way, they got 5 rounds to begin with, followed by 7 answering rounds from the side of Orbit Reality to eventually win out that first map. Second map, though, did go to overtime and eventually was won out by Orbit Reality, being brought right down to the very last line. 1 minute left on the clock, and an unfortunate TK there coming out on the side of Randies because of a well-placed C4. It was a completely accidental one. There was nothing that could, of course, been done. Just so happened that the man that died to the C4 was the man holding the grenade, resulting in technically a double kill for Dixon. But eventually, of course, Orbit Reality were able to win that one out, resulting in them winning today's best of 2 against Randies. But some incredibly good siege, some incredibly good plays, and some incredibly good games for me to cast for you today. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. It is greatly appreciated. Right to the death of it, though, I'd like to say a big thank you to YNovaR6. Thank you very much for the follow, my dude. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you, everybody who has tuned in today for the stream. It is greatly appreciated having you all along for the ride. I hope I gave you some good siege today. I know the teams did, but I hope my casting was up to the same level as their game was. Anyway, I'm going to end it off right here since I need to go and get myself some dinner. So thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to drop me a follow if you haven't already so you are made aware when I next go live with either some casting or just some streaming of Siege. Either way, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Only one more day left until we hit the weekend, so I hope you'll all have a good Friday, and I will hopefully catch you sometime soon, whether that be in the league or in another stream. Thank you once again, everybody. I will catch you on the next time. I've been Elemental, and I'll catch you later. Ciao for now.